Hello and welcome to Asian Movie Pulse News. I'm Rhythm Zaveri, and today we have with us one of India's foremost directors, Mr. Anurag Kashyap. Anurag, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm much better. I slept well.
Yeah, perfect. So Anurag's new film Kennedy is screening at Neuchatel International Film Festival of Fantastic Films. So that's where he joins us from. And Anurag will just get straight into it if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure. Tell me.
Perfect. So obviously the pandemic had a say, but how would you say that the idea for this project, which sees you return to the sort of bleak, brutal, and stylized thrillers, come from?
I think it's the pandemic has a big role to play
Right.
because I was kind of lost in pandemic. I was not prepared for it, and
Hmm.
I've been working all my life. So suddenly everything stopping had a very adverse effect on me. And plus everything politically that was going on in India was affecting me. So
Hmm.
it was very bad. And the story also comes from the pandemic. So
Right.
it's it's been it's been both good and bad. It was bad initially, and now it's okay.
I see. Right. How would you say that the inspiration for this character of Kennedy come by, and why did you choose to not have him talking too much in the film?
The character actually was with me for a very long time
Hmm.
because the character came based on a real character called Uday Shetty,
Hmm.
who is kind of a mythology. I used to hear stories about him from Sudhir Mishra, the filmmaker,
Right.
and he has just stayed at the back of my head. What
Hmm.
happened during the pandemic, the whole Scorpio case, when the Scorpio was found outside Antilla
Hmm.
with some Mukesh Ambani's house, and all the newspaper reports and things. And I said, this if what if this was actually a plot? What if this was actually, so
Right.
all some actual incidents inspire an idea. And
Hmm.
then I made a fictional take on things that actually happened around the pandemic.
Right.
And it's difficult to tell the whole story. And I wanted to, because pandemic also involves mask,
Hmm.
and everybody
Right.
was wearing a mask, and it gave me a kind of an opportunity to do a mystery with a very stylized mask, and having a character who just executes and doesn't talk much, takes orders, and is a
Right.
ghost. And it just came out.
Perfect. So, in general, how would you describe the character of Kennedy?
Oh, I don't know. He's like a machine. He's a man who executes. He's skilled, but he's
Mhm.
not very extremely intelligent. He's extremely skilled at things that he does, skilled at making bombs, skills with his weapons, and he doesn't have any empathy inside him. So he's kind of a, you don't even know whether he's cold or not, but he just does things what he's told to do. He's like a very obedient assassin,
Right.
and he's also almost like a pet for the man he's doing all these executions for, because he also has, it's like almost like he's a pet where he's waiting for his treat all the time,
Mhm.
and
Right.
his treat is something that has been promised to him which is not delivered.
Mhm.
And then it becomes a story of redemption because he lives with the ghosts of his victims.
Right.
And that is where you know that there is something human inside of him, because ghosts come from the guilt.
Right. Perfect. Very interesting. Thank you. Um, Obviously, corruption plays a big part of the narrative as well. Um,
Absolutely, yeah.
yes. How intense would you say that corruption is in Mumbai and India in general?
Not in Mumbai and India. I think, we are living in a time post social media where
Mhm.
the across the world, it's corruption is very deep rooted. You
Mhm.
talk about US, UK, everywhere where things have gone extremely right, and
Mhm.
right benefits the billionaires. And
Mhm.
when the world is right, totally right, extreme right, it only benefits few, which are the
Right.
billionaires, which all the
Right.
billionaires are conservatives. And in a situation like that, the world wide, there is massive corruption. And there's always been corruption. In India, corruption still has some kind of a reasoning and rootedness because it's an overpopulated country with people
Mhm.
working around the clock with very minimal salaries. The amount of unemployment in India is huge.
Right.
The people below the poverty line is huge. and so corruption in India has been deep rooted for the longest time. It's not a new phenomenon, but
Right.
it's just gone to a larger scale because people in the better positions are more corrupt.
Right.
And it's a way of
Uh,
life now. You know that you need to pay something to get your work done because things are not in order. And it's a
Absolutely.
story across South Asia. It's a story across all the countries that like the Brazil, Russia, everywhere. It's the same story.
Gotcha. Right. Obviously, the film's stars Rahul Bhat and Sunny Leone. How did you decide upon? Yeah.
Yeah, it's also because I want actors who are actually available. In India, the problems is the actors have a lot of vanity.
Right.
So it's very few actors you'll find who will wear a mask throughout the film, where the face
Right.
is not completely like even our superheroes don't hide
Mhm.
their faces behind a mask. That's the country
Absolutely.
we are. So
Totally true.
Rahul was more secure and he gave me a lot of his time to
Hmm.
transform himself. He trusted me, gave me a lot of trust, and I thought he was correct and right age and right time for him.
Hmm.
Sunny was always playing in my head, but I wasn't sure about her acting
Hmm.
because I'd never seen her act. So I asked her for a test, and she gave a massive, very good test, and she was amazing. She was
Hmm.
just amazing. The personality that she has is what I exactly wanted,
Right.
with tweaking here and there, and she was willing to work on it. So that's how
Brilliant.
they all came.
And I think it shows in her performance in the film as well.
Yeah, it does, yeah, it
For
does.
sure. Yeah. Also, like, do you, in general, are you strict with your actors or do you just let them improvise? How does it work on your sets?
It depends. It goes from actors to actors. Like some actors, I do improvise. I do improvise on the set a lot,
Hmm.
but sometimes I don't.
Right.
Sometimes I don't.
What was the case with this one?
This one, a lot of it was written,
Right.
and some bits were improvised. Some bits were improvised within the scenes and things,
Right.
like some sequences from the past. And otherwise, mostly in this film, I stuck to the script.
Understood. Right. Also, the film is very impressive stylistically. It's beautiful to look at and to listen to as well. Could you tell us a bit about the cinematographic and the music choices that were made with this film?
I was surprisingly, when I was writing the film, I was listening to Tchaikovsky. So I always play music in the background when I'm writing a film. So it's
Right.
Tchaikovsky found its way into the film because I was listening to it. And I
Right.
think style started from there. And then my collaborators like Sylvester and like the opening sequence was written on script.
Okay.
The, the red sofa, the green apple, the background, everything was written into the script,
Right.
whether it's Tchaikovsky playing. And I think from there, all the collaborators got a cue from Prashant,
Hmm.
who's my costume person, Kazveen, or my first AD, and everybody. And then they sat down and they started creating a whole palette of the film. And
Right.
that's how I think it started off. And then it became a stylized film. And style always emerges in the edit. In
Hmm.
the sense, we just shoot very close with the actors. And
Right.
most of it emerges in the production design and costumes and cinematography. And then
Hmm.
in the edit, we kind of formed a style. And then the music came in. Then the Amir Aziz, who's a protest poet who's never done music before, this
Hmm.
young boy, 20-year-old, who's just still finding his voice. I found them very interesting, put them together in a room. And
Right.
that's how the music came out. And it all just came together very well.
Brilliant. Yeah. Speaking of Amir Aziz as well, I believe he did the poetic voiceovers that come throughout the
Right.
film.
And all the poetry, voiceover, everything is his voice. His voice,
Right.
his words. His
Right.
words.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. So was that on the script or was that
Wasn't on the script. It wasn't on the
right?
script. It came from after I met Amir. I gave him the script. I said, "What does this film make you feel?" We recorded all those things after he saw the edit,
Right.
and on top of that, it's mostly like inspired by what Nick Cave used to do in his movies, like Proposition and everything.
Right.
So Nick Cave, big inspiration
I
for
see.
that.
Perfect. Also, I mean, this is a crime film, first and foremost. So I think a lot of people on our team wanted to know, like, why do crime films appeal to you so much?
I think crime is a most fascinating genre because through crime movies you can say everything.
Hmm.
When I discovered Chandler and Dashiell Hammett and all the noir writers and things, and I realized, the crime films are very existential,
Right.
and they practice a philosophy. They talk about a philosophy that is actually practiced. Then they're
Hmm.
far removed from Jung and Nietzsche and all those people. The philosophies are very esoteric, very like highbrow, and it talks about things that does not reach out to everyone, and is not practicable. They talk very deep philosophy. I wanted to talk crime talks about survival on the streets. It
Right.
talks about the marginalized.
Hmm.
It talks about the marginalized, and they're the ones who interest me. I'm not interested in the rich and famous. I'm not interested in the privileged ones. I'm
Right.
interested in people who are below that line.
Right.
And most of noir came from ex-war veterans. Most
Hmm.
of the writers were alcoholics in the 30s and
Right.
40s. A lot
Absolutely.
of them crime for pulp.
Hmm.
And pulp has always been fascinating for me. This film also, massive influence was from Jean-Patrick Manchet and
Hmm.
Jacques Tardy's graphic novels.
Right.
So they actually pick elements from life, and which is very fascinating for me. I
Right.
don't like superheroes and things. I like human people, no
Absolutely.
fallible.
Right. To just very slightly move away from Kennedy, like yourself, I too am a physical media collector. I buy a lot of Blu-rays and stuff, and I, for one, would
I
like
have
to own
one
more of.
suitcase full of it right now here.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, that's what happens with me too every time I travels too. So, but yeah, I mean,
Mm.
I'd love to own more of your films on Blu-ray as well. Do you think we'll ever see a Anurag Kashyap box set or something?
I don't know. Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do the hard work of collecting all the movies, because it's very difficult in India to go and find rights and get rights.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. You've obviously done a number of crime films. You've also dabbled in romance and a lot of other genres all along the way. Is there any genre that you think that still haven't done but would like to at some point?
Me,
Mhm.
I don't know. There are lots I want to do. I want to do a lot. I want to do a dystopian film, a dystopian futuristic film like Alvin Kalicharan is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time,
Oh
which was
yeah,
shelved years ago, 20 years
right,
now.
right. Brilliant. That would be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Also, I only have one more question now, and this is based on something that I read a couple of days back, which is that Ram Gopal Verma Satya celebrates his 25th anniversary this year, which pretty much means that you more or less complete 25 years in the industry as well.
25,
How
no, I finished 30 years, but 25 years, yeah, with since my first release.
Right, yeah, yeah. So like how would you describe this journey that you had, and how do you think Indian
I have
cinema.
nothing. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I have nothing to complain.
Right.
My success, my failures have been mine, mostly failures,
Nice.
but they've been very personal and very rewarding.
Hmm.
And I owe most of it to Ram Gopal Verma.
Right,
And he had the patience, and he had the thing to courage to pick me up, and he had the patience to take me through the whole journey.
right,
And a lot of people, I've been such amazing collaborators all my life. So I've been very
right.
fortunate. And there's
Brilliant.
nothing, no regrets, no regrets.
Excellent, excellent. How would you say that Indian cinema and Bollywood in especially has changed from then to now?
Oh, it changed big time, and then now it's regressing at the moment. We're
Hmm.
going back 30,
Yeah,
we're going back 30, 40 years with the propaganda movies and everything. I don't know. And it's like little uncertain times for cinemas because of people's viewing habit has changed during the pandemic.
for
And
sure.
I spoke to maker friends from across the world. They're all facing the same predicament.
Hmm.
So what works, what doesn't work, you don't know. You want to
Right,
make films and to put them out there. And at the same time, while theaters, people are not going to theaters as much, making a film is becoming costlier. So it's a very strange place we are in. We have to
right.
find ways to work on it.
Gotcha. Right. All right, that's it from me. Thank you so much for your time, Anurag.
Thank
And I
you.
hope
Thank you.
Kennedy gets a very good response at NIF as well.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
Thank you once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.